Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I'm talking about Raw, episode 1412, NXT 568, NXT UK 99, SmackDown 1088, 205 Live 185, and Raw, episode 1413, taking us from June 22nd through June 29th. It is now July. I'm recording this on July 1st. Congratulations, everybody who can listen to this. We made it to July so far. I didn't want to get back to recording regularly this month, but to start off the bat, I got to get caught up on everything from the last week real quickly in this episode. So I'm only going to talk about really the highlights. I did enjoy quite a bit this past week. Starting from the most recent thing, the main event on Raw, I wouldn't have expected it to the developments to go this way, but even before last week began, if you told me we would get Drew McIntyre and Asuka in a mixed tag team against Dolph Ziggler and Sasha Banks, I would have believed you, but I wouldn't have seen how that would be happening, because we didn't even know that Dolph Ziggler was traded to Raw yet, because on the 22nd, to start off this week of shows, Dolph visits Drew, and he has been traded along with Robert Roode in exchange for AJ Styles going to SmackDown. So Dolph Ziggler is now Raw, and he challenges Drew for the championship. So that was a good bookends for this whole week of shows, is the Dolph and Drew situation. Nia Jackson did some stuff last week. I don't remember any of that. We had Charlotte versus Asuka, and Asuka tapped Charlotte out with the Asuka lock, and that is has such a huge relief. Finally, that happens. We had the Street Profits versus the Viking Raiders. Oh yeah, this whole episode was a bunch of championship matches. It was pretty killer. These matches were really good. But let's see, Charlotte versus Asuka, that happened. I just said that. Street Profits successfully retained against the Viking Raiders, but the Andrade and Angel attacked them. Andrade and Angel seem to be going after the tag team championships, but they can't get along. In fact, they kept abandoning each other. They had two matches this week on the 29th, and they kept bailing on each other throughout the matches, despite winning. I think they won at least one of the matches. Let's see. Let me skim through my notes. Angel Garza won their first match against the Viking Raiders via the Wing Clipper. And then later on, they had another match versus the Big Show. They had a handicap match against the Big Show, and the Big Show won, but Angel abandoned and Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega went with him. He totally abandoned his partner there. But interesting developments with them. I think I think Andrade will probably bail on them completely and just disappear for a while in kayfabe, but also go spend some time with Charlotte, who's has an injured arm now at the hands of Asuka, it would seem. But I've heard that she will probably be off TV for a few months, so that would make sense if they both take some time off together. But I don't like to speculate a whole lot based on outside stuff. I like to mostly just take a look at what's on screen. But we see a lot of that on screen. Not specifically tying Andrade and Charlotte together, but you know what I mean. Let's see. Edge had a great promo. He really laid into Randy Orton. We didn't get any Edge or Randy on the following week. So hopefully we get more of that coming up. But I think we're going to have, it's got to be Randy, because Big Show went after Andrade and Angel because Randy wasn't around. basically. So maybe we'll see. We will end up seeing Randy versus The Big Show at Extreme Rules. Charlotte was also attacked by Nia Jax backstage, and that's continued. That furthered her reason to be off of TV for a while. It hasn't officially been confirmed on TV, like in storyline yet, but it seems pretty. It seems to have some weight behind it. That rumor. We had Tozawa versus Truth, and Tozawa wins the 24/7 championship after he hid while Bobby Lashley was attacking Truth and all that. Let's see. Liv versus Natalya. Natalya wins via the sharpshooter. Liv is very upset. Backstage, Ruby Riott goes to talk to her, but Liv doesn't even let her speak. She says, I don't need you making this worse. Get out of here. And she leaves. Then the next week, we have Ruby Riott. She can't... Liv Morgan isn't around, but she goes and challenges the Iconics, and that match was super good. Go watch that match. She challenges the both of them. She says, one of you meet me in the ring, and we end up with Ruby Riott versus Peyton Royce, which is really good. And I wonder, Peyton Royce had only appeared. I did watch a little bit of Volume 53. Actually, I watched the whole thing. I wasn't paying attention to the whole thing, but Volume 53 of Shimmer. Ruby Riott was not on that show, and Peyton Royce wasn't on that show, but Billie Kay was, and it got me doing a little bit more research. Peyton Royce was only appeared on Shimmer twice, and I wonder who her opponents are if she fought Ruby Riott on either of those appearances, but I'm not sure. I'll have to look back on that. But anyway, this match is really good, and I definitely recommend it. That was on the latest episode of Raw. Let's see. Ric Flair crowns Randy Orton as the best wrestler of all time. The Big Show comes out, and he says, some might say he's a legend, so why don't you, legend, kill me, or whatever. But yeah, that gets things rolling for the Extreme Rules match, I think. Sasha Banks versus the Iconics, because they successfully retained their championships at the last time they did the thing. They successfully retained them the previous week. And let's see. Sasha Banks gets the win via the big statement to Peyton Royce. Sasha and Bayley are super, super funny, as they always are. And Sasha says, I was getting pretty jealous. I am getting jealous of those straps. I want a title match. And she challenges Asuka. And Asuka accepts. And that's pretty awesome. That's why we ended up with Sasha Banks and Dolph Ziggler versus Drew McIntyre and Asuka on the next episode. Let's see. We had an episode of VIP Lounge. Apollo MVP says Apollo needs help, and Apollo says, No, I am a self-made man. You're saying you were a self-made man. Well, I am too. I don't need your help. Shelton versus Apollo happens. Apollo wins via powerbomb, but then Lashley attacks with that full Nelson, as he just keeps attacking everybody with that. Then we had Rey Mysterio and Dominic. Rey says, I need to get revenge myself, but Dominic says, No, I go in with you. And they go out there. Were they there in person? I can't remember. But Humberto Carrillo and Aleister Black attack Seth and his minions to fight them off. Was that the main event? I can't believe that was the end of the show. That's where my notes end for that episode, but there you go. I said I was going to make this quick, but I am going through like all of my notes. NXT was fantastic. We had Damian Priest versus Cameron Grimes. We then had, which Cameron Grimes won, which is pretty crazy. Then we had Santos Escobar versus Jake Atlas, which I didn't write down who won. I'm pretty sure that Escobar won. Let's see. What are these? Roderick. He finds out that Kyle O'Reilly is their doctor. And he is researching a role, but he confronts the trunk, and he gets inside, and everybody's excited. I thought for sure the driver was going to be Dexter Lewis. He's just going to drive off with him again, but that was not the case, luckily. And we did end up with having Roderick Strong versus Dexter Loomis later on in the night. We had Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. This match was fantastic, especially Raquel's one-armed powerbomb. She lifts up Casey. She's holding her up with one arm, and then while she's holding her, she gives Caden a big boot to knock her out of the way, and then that little flourish and slam. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Raquel is I already thought she was awesome, but man, that powerbomb was ridiculous. Great. Dakota Kai then got the win, got the pin after that. So yeah, I want to see them. I want to see them fight Sasha and Bayley ASAP for the championships. Then we had Karrion Kross versus Bronson Reed. Karrion Kross won via submission. I don't know what. He had the float over suplexes against Bronson Reed. How ridiculous is that? Super impressive. And then Rhea Ripley fought Aaliyah. Rhea won, and despite Robert Stone trying to throw a shoe at her, or he did throw a shoe at her. And then we're going to have those two against Rhea Ripley next week. There's kind of a non-serious suggestion thrown out, I felt like. And then Regal said, yeah, that's fine. And then Robert Stone tried to talk his way out of it, and Rhea comes and she's like, oh, yeah, that's fine. Let's do this. So we're getting that next week. Oh, my gosh. In just an hour, it's 5 p.m., in an hour from now, the Great American Bash Part 1 for next week's episode of NXT happens. And I got to talk about the matches that are happening on there in just a minute. But and who knows what week 2 is going to be like. Week 2 would be even more ridiculous. But then we had Dexter Loomis versus Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong runs away immediately, and for next week, we're going to get a strap match between the two of them, so Roderick Strong will not be able to run away. Regal makes Robert Stone and Aaliyah versus Rhea Ripley. I wrote that down. And then we had our main event, which was for the North American Championship. We do know this match will be in week 2. The winner of this match will face Adam Cole. Winner takes all. But we have Johnny Gargano versus Finn Balor versus Keith Lee. And Keith Lee wins via the Big Bang Catastrophe. And Cole comes out, and they stare each other down face to face to close out the episode. I am so excited for NXT this week. Okay, first of all, we have for week 1 of Great American Bash, we have the Rhea Ripley versus Robert Stone and Aaliyah. That's going to be really exciting. We have oh man, I need to pull up the picture so I can remember everything. Let's see. I have it saved in my photos, just the tile wallpaper of everything that's happening next week. We have the strap match between Dexter Loomis and Roderick Strong. Then we also had Oney Lorcan challenge Timothy Thatcher to a match. They're going to beat the crap out of each other. So that's happening on the next NXT. Then we have a fatal 4-way to determine the number 1 contender to fight Io Shirai. And I assume that match, that championship match, will happen in the next week. I don't think it's officially been announced, but that it's got to be. That match has to happen next week. But we have in that match Mia Yim versus Tegan Nox versus Candice LeRae versus Dakota Kai. All kinds of opportunities for outside involvement in that match. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And it's an elimination match, which I talk about all the time. Multi-person matches that aren't elimination rules are dumb. I don't like them. So I'm really glad they made this an elimination match. And then we also have Io Shirai versus Sasha Banks, a non-title match, but Sasha wants some revenge after Io Shirai came and attacked them after their successful defense against Shotzi and Tegan. Is that who they fought? Yeah, I think that's who they fought. It was great, and this whole episode is going to be great next week. I can't wait. It's only 56 minutes away from when I'm recording this right now. Okay, then on SmackDown, because of a whole lot of things that happened this week, they had to change some course, and a lot of the episode was a replay of the Boneyard match intermixed with some segments of the Last Ride. So this whole episode was a tribute to the Undertaker. Then Corbin comes out and he craps all over the Undertaker, saying he's an old bag of bones and all of that. And Jeff Hardy says, "You're not going to say bad things about my mentor. I'll defend his honor." So that ends up being the main event. Bayley and Sasha are on commentary for Alexa versus Nikki versus Dana Brooke versus Lacey Evans. Fatal 4-way to determine who will be Bayley's challenger at the horror show. Scary. Extreme Rules horror show. I don't know why it's being called that. It doesn't really fit the graphics of it. The graphics are awesome. The horror show tagline could be awesome, but they don't fit together. I don't know, but we'll see. It's got to be called the horror show because of Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman happening. But Nikki Cross gets the win. Alexa is super happy for her because Nikki Cross does not pin Alexa to it. I think she pinned Dana Brooke. No, she pinned Lacey Evans. There we go. So that's gonna be really good. I hope that they have to pull double duty and we also get a tag title match against somebody. Maybe we'll find out this week. But Corey says, "Is it you that keeps inviting them out?" That's right. He asks Michael Cole, "Is it you that keeps inviting them out here? Because they're just too much." But there's not enough, in my opinion, not enough Bayley and Sasha on commentary on all they should just be on commentary on all the shows. In fact, on Raw, Bayley was on commentary during the main event, and it was great. Let's see, Braun, he is not afraid at all of the House of Horrors, and Bray says, "Let's go home." And so that's going to be really interesting. Jeff Hardy versus Baron Corbin in the main event. Jeff Hardy wins, and everybody else celebrates, and they all take turns hitting Corbin with some finishers and all that, including Matt Riddle hitting the floating bro. So there you go. That was SmackDown last week. It was all right. It was kind of like a half episode because so much of it was the tribute to the Undertaker stuff, which was fine. I feel like they should take a week off of like everything, and like the week after Great American Bash would be a great time to do it, or maybe the week after Extreme Rules. Either way, just have a week of just all clip shows just for a week. Give everybody a break, except for the editors. With the editors, that they can do that. They're not at the same risk of everybody else. And then this week's episode of Raw, we talked about Boss Sasha Banks. We opened up with a double contract signing, and then that's what ended up with Drew and Asuka versus Dolph and Sasha. But Sasha Banks signs her contract with her stamp, and Asuka interrupted Dolph's whole thing. It's like, okay, this is enough. We don't need it. Let's just sign the contracts. Charlie Caruso seems to be jealous of Jessica, the referee, because Angel Garza was talking to her a little bit. But Big Show pulls Reg, is like, "No, I'm going out there. I need a segment next." It said Ric Flair comes out and all that kind of things. Raiders appear. There's a big old brawl, and we get Angel Garza and Andrade versus the Viking Raiders. Like I had mentioned, Angel Garza won via the Storm Clipper, but Andrade storms off, and and Ric Flair has an idea for Zelina Vega, and I guess that idea ended up being a handicap match against the Big Show. I don't know. That was all kind of weird. The Iconics are bothered by Ruby. No, the Iconics bother Ruby, and Ruby challenges them, and we later get that match. R-Truth versus Tozawa. R-Truth wins the championship back and fights off a bunch of ninjas who also try to win the championship off of him after the match ends. Who begs for forgiveness for... Oh, Seth. He begs for forgiveness for not for what he did, but for what Rey Mysterio is making him do. Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo arrive. They have a match, Seth and Murphy versus Black and Carrillo. But Seth pins Humberto. Aleister attacks. He then puts on the mask on Humberto, Rey Mysterio's mask, and tries to take him over the steps, but then Aleister Black fights him off. Lana approaches Ruby Riott backstage, and Ruby's like, get away from me. Ruby Riott versus Peyton Royce. Peyton wins. Ruby is very sad, and I think we might see Ruby and Liv get back together because they're both very sad because they miss their best friends, maybe. I hope so. Peyton and Billy also had a hilarious victory dance. Billy Kay was exactly too much. She was exactly the amount that is too much after that victory. Then the Big Show defeated Andrade and Angel, like I had mentioned. Let's see. Truth suspects Apollo Crews, Cedric, and Ricochet backstage of being ninjas. He doesn't trust anybody. And he also calls him Richard O'Shea. It was very funny. Apollo versus MVP then happens. MVP won via a front suplex and some help from Lashley. And then we got Ricochet versus Lashley, which was fantastic. Apollo Crews versus MVP was pretty good, but Ricochet versus Lashley, I was not expecting this match at all, and it was really, really good. So go check that out. And then we had our main event, Drew McIntyre and Asuka versus Dolph Ziggler and Sasha Banks. And Sasha got the win with a roll-up reversal out of the Asuka lock. And this was shortly after Bayley did her signature distraction. It was, hey, just yelling, hey, from commentary table. And the rest of the commentary team was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Stop it. I love Sasha and Bayley right now. So, that was everything from this week. This was kind of a longer episode, but that's fine. It was talking about the whole thing. Oh, I did not actually watch NXT UK this week or 205 Live. I didn't think I was probably missing all that much. I know NXT UK was some type of clip show, and 205 Live maybe only had one match, according to what was on the photos for this week. It looked like there was only one match, and I can't even remember what that match was. I'm sorry. Isaiah Swerve Scott. He defeated Tony Nese, I think. But I don't know. Those are the only pictures that were on there. I don't know if they had another match as well that they just didn't have photos of. But anyway, I am really enjoying everything that's going on. Great American Bash is going to be amazing, and I'm going to get ready to go watch that right now. Well, I still have 45 minutes to get ready to watch it, but still. You know what? I'm going to make a pizza. How about that? How's that sound? I'm going to celebrate the Great American Bash with a freshly baked DiGiorno pizza. And I recommend you do the same. Use coupon code TIW Podcasts on DiGiorno.com to get your deliveries of DiGiorno. I don't know what I'm saying. I do know what I'm saying, but it's nonsense. It's all nonsense. I am really excited. I'm going to get back to recording regularly after each episode this week. It was like, okay, having a break, sort of a break, having these condensed episodes, but things are picking up so much. I felt like Great American Bash itself is going to be worthy of its own episode for sure. So I may as well, get caught up now, so that I can record this episode tomorrow. But also go check out, I'm streaming almost every day, every morning on Twitch, twitch.tv/The Demon Jackal, playing WWE Supercard. And then I also do like wrestling trivia and like weekly prizes, monthly prizes for points for everybody in the chat. It's really fun. Go check it out. Don't be a jerk if you come check it out, though. Hopefully everybody who listens to this wouldn't be a jerk anyway. But yeah, that is everything for right now. Stay tuned. Real soon, I'll be talking about this week's NXT and everything going from there. I am pretty excited. Wrestling is so much fun to watch. And if things do happen that there needs to be a break from live shows for a while, which I have a feeling that might happen at some point, but I rearranged my apartment a little bit. I have this little office nook, and I brought out all of my DVDs and VHS tape. Not all of my VHS tapes, some of my VHS tapes. Some of them are still in storage, but yeah, there's some lots of classic stuff on there, and of course there's always the WWE Network to watch some classic stuff on there. So if I feel like I haven't had enough to talk about on the podcast for a while, which probably won't happen because I just had this break, but there's all kinds of classic stuff to talk about as well. But anyway, let me know what you thought about all this stuff by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe to iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe, healthy, and happy out there in all the infinite multiverses. And I'll see you next time here on TIW Podcast. Bye.